Secretary Clinton, during your 2009 Senate confirmation hearing, you promised to avoid even the appearance of a conflict of interest with your dealing with the Clinton Foundation while you were Secretary of State. But emails show that donors got special access to you. Those seeking grants for Haiti relief were considered separately from non-donors, and some of those donors got government contracts, taxpayer money. Can you really say that you kept your pledge to that Senate committee? And why isn't what happened and what went on between you and the Clinton Foundation, why isn't it what Mr. Trump calls pay to play?
Well, everything I did as Secretary of State was in furtherance of our country's interests and our values. The State Department has said that. I think that's been proven. But I am happy. In fact, I'm thrilled to talk about the Clinton Foundation, healthier for kids,
Secretary
including
Clinton,
healthier
respectfully, this is an open discussion.
Well, it is an open discussion.
I understand, and the specific question went to pay for play. Do you want to talk about that?
But there is no evidence, but there is a lot of evidence about the very good work
and it's a
and
criminal
the high
enterprise,
rankings that
and
the
so many people know it. It's a criminal enterprise. Saudi Arabia giving $25 million, Qatar, all of these countries. You talk about women and women's rights. So these are people that push gays off buildings. These are people that kill women and treat women horribly, and yet you take their money. So I'd like to ask you right now, why don't you give back the money that you've taken from certain countries that treat certain groups of people so horribly? Why don't you give back the money? I think it would be a great gesture, because she takes a tremendous amount of money, and you take a look at the people of Haiti. I was at a little Haiti the other day in Florida, and I want to tell you, they hate the Clintons, because what's happened in Haiti with the Clinton Foundation is a disgrace.
The prize of this country is the peaceful transition of power, and that no matter how hard fought a campaign is, that at the end of the campaign, that the loser concedes to the winner, not saying that you're necessarily going to be the loser or the winner, but that the loser concedes to the winner and that the country comes together in part for the good of the country. Are you saying you're not prepared now to commit to that principle?
What I'm saying is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
Well,
okay?
Chris, let me respond to that, because that's horrifying.
I think what the FBI did and what the Department of Justice did, including meeting with her husband, the Attorney General, on the back of an airplane on the tarmac in Arizona, I think it's disgraceful. I think it's a disgrace.
All right.
I think we've never had a situation so bad.
Hold on, folks. This doesn't do any good for anyone. Let's please continue the debate.
I'm just amazed that he seems to think that the Iraqi government and our allies and everybody else launched the attack on Mosul to help me in this election. But that's how Donald thinks, you know. He always is looking for some
Chris,
conspiracy.
we don't gain anything.
He has all these
Iran is taking over Iraq.
Secretary Clinton.
Iran is taking over Iraq. We don't gain
Secretary Clinton.
We would have gained if they did it by surprise.
Wait. Secretary Clinton, it's an open discussion.
Secretary. We would have gained if they did it by surprise.
Secretary, please let Mr. Trump speak.
He's unfit, and he proves it every time
You
he
are
talks.
the one that's unfit. You know, WikiLeaks just actually came out. John Podesta said some horrible things about you, and boy, was he right. He said some beauties. And you know, Bernie Sanders, he said you have bad judgment. You do. And if you think that going into Mosul, after we let the world know we're going in, and all of the people that we really wanted, the leaders, they're all gone. If you think that was good, then you do. Now, John Podesta said you have terrible instincts. Bernie Sanders said you have bad judgment. I agree with both.
Well, you should ask Bernie Sanders who he's supporting for president, and he has said,
which is
as
a big
he has
mistake.
campaigned for me around the country, you are the most dangerous person to run for president in the modern history of America. I think he's right.
Let's...
And one thing we have to do, repeal and replace the disaster known as Obamacare. It's destroying our country. It's destroying our businesses, our small business, and our big businesses. We have to repeal and replace Obamacare. You take a look at the kind of numbers that will cost us in the year 17. It is a disaster if we don't repeal and replace. Now, it's probably going to die of its own weight, but Obamacare has to go. The premiums are going up 60, 70, 80%. Next year, they're going to go up over 100%. And I'm really glad that the premiums have started. At least the people see what's happening, because she wants to keep Obamacare and she wants to make it even worse. And it can't get any worse. Bad health care at the most expensive price. We have to repeal and replace Obamacare.
And Secretary Clinton, same question, because at this point, Social Security and Medicare are going to run out. The trust funds are going to run out of money. Will you, as president, will you consider a grand bargain, a deal that includes both tax increases and benefit cuts to try to save both programs?
Well, Chris, I am on record as saying that we need to put more money into the Social Security Trust Fund. That's part of my commitment to raise taxes on the wealthy. My Social Security payroll contribution will go up, as will Donald's, assuming he can't figure out how to get out of it. But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund by making sure that we have sufficient resources. And that will come from either raising the cap and or finding other ways to get more money into it. I will not cut benefits. I want to enhance benefits for low-income workers and for women who have been disadvantaged by the current Social Security system. But what Donald is proposing with these massive tax cuts will result in a $20 trillion additional national debt. That will have dire consequences for Social Security and Medicare. So if he repeals it, our Medicare problem gets worse. What we need to do is go after the long-term health care.
Family, so I've seen them.
What do you think should be done with the VA?
I've seen them mourn, and the thing is that we had 4 lives in Benghazi that were killed, and your wife tried to cover it up.
Go ahead.
Going over those 4 lives. Those 4 lives, those 4 American lives. If someone lost their grandchild, their son, their brother, as I've talked, yes, I was a Marine. I was an infantry unit out in California. I was a Marine drill instructor out here at Parris Island.
Thank you for your service.
I trained every recruit, regardless of religion, race, color.
Okay, now can I answer?
All of them exactly the same.
He has a right to say. He's criminal white.
This is America. I get to answer back. You listen to me. I heard you. Protect all of you. I heard your speech. They heard your speech. You listen to me.
Of the Benghazi.
Do I have a right to answer? I'm not your commander-in-chief anymore, but if I were, I'd tell you to be more polite. Say it.
I wouldn't listen. I was just raised by a book.
You can't touch him.
I'm not resisting. But the bottom line is that I would. And I have put myself in the room.
Do you have? Wait. Do you have the courage to listen to my answer? Don't throw it out. If you'll shut up and listen to my answer, I'll answer it. Look, can I just say something? That's what's wrong. His mind has been poisoned by lies, and he won't listen.
Hillary lied over 4 coffins. 4 coffins. She lied, and she lied to his family. So all those families are liars? No, all those families are liars. I want to know. Did she lie?
Will you give me a chance to answer?
What answer? Did she lie?
Will you give me a chance?
Did she lie?
No.
She didn't lie. Those families are lying?
Let's go through it. Will you
No,
listen
I'm
to me?
not going to shut up. That's my first. No, I'm not going to shut up.
To listen to my
Yes,
answer.
I am.
Why are you afraid?
No, I'm not afraid because I know you're going to lie. Oh, don't touch Do not touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
You gotta go. Sorry. Go.
She lied over 4 coffins.
You gotta go.
Of our military men. That is true.
Time to go.
Go.
We do not have confidence in, but I am not going to slam the door on women and children. That picture of that little 4-year-old boy in Aleppo with the blood coming down his face while he sat in an ambulance is haunting. And so we are going to do very careful, thorough vetting. That does not solve our internal challenges with